am the king!
What's up, Headless Horde? Episode 10. Ryan Milky is hiding his face. He's probably seen it 50 times already.
Just five.
Sorry, I added a 0. I need to update my Targaryen family tree video, I think, after that episode.
I was thinking that when it dropped. I was like, no, you should have done that one yet.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I've been waiting to talk to you about this episode all bloody weekend, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't want to watch the leak, and I wasn't sure of the quality, but then you had messaged me saying the quality was actually pretty good. And
it's basically the HBO episode. It wasn't a bad copy. Like we'll put it out there. The episode was leaked. Some idiot leaked this episode this week. So Milky's had the episode since Saturday morning. And I offered it out to everybody, and everyone was like, nah, I'm good. I was like, yeah, what's going on? You're all supposed to be Game of Thrones fans. Why are you not jumping on this thing? Like, I was on it. But I said to you, I was like, I know you've got the wife you're going to watch it with and stuff, so it's understandable.
Yeah, she's usually at home on Sundays for the most part when I watch football. She does errands and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you what, after watching that crappy ass Browns game again, I should have watched this instead because I could have watched it 3 times by now. But anyways, what's up?
I'll try not to give as many book bombs as I will tomorrow night because I from now to tomorrow I do a lot of research myself as well. So, but yeah, there is quite a few book bombs.
All right. Let's see. We got Christina Payne in the chat today. What's going on? Umpty's here. Oh, he watched. He finished it in 2 days. Love it. What's up, Fidel?
Fidel, let's go.
Just got done watching it. Okay, so sweet. Baby Ice is in the house. All right, let's dive into this thing, man. I took quite a few notes today. Quite a few. It's tough because I have to rewind a lot when I do this. That's why maybe I'm a couple minutes late, but I wanted to make sure I got everything down. All right. So we finally get to hear the Sea Snake's name again, and the opening has we're talking to Luke. We see Luke and Rhaenyra talking. We see Rhaenyra looks like she's about to maybe have that baby, which I was like, wait, isn't it a little early for that? And then we kind of hear her talking to Luke about how he is kind of promised to be the Lord of Driftmark, and then that's kind of when we get to hear about Corlys. His fever broke and he left, but no one really knows where he's headed. As viewers, I guess you probably kind of assume he's probably headed toward Dragonstone. But so the opening scene, what did you think about that there, Ryan Milky?
Loved it. I loved the new aspect that they included with the table. The table looks absolutely brilliant, in my opinion. We've seen that in the original show with Stannis and with Queen Daenerys and stuff on there. So it was definitely a cool table. The conversations, again, were brilliant. It's just... It's a hard-hitting episode, and it needed to be. Like I say, I've watched it a couple of times, and when I sit back and actually analyze the episode, there isn't much happening this episode, like at all. There's a couple of conversations, and then it's boom, straight into the hard stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. It was a great episode, and the beginning of it, this scene, it leaded up quite well. I needed to see Rhaenys pretty quickly because of what happened last week.
Yeah. With
her flying away from Aegon and stuff. So yeah, I'm glad that we got that, and I'm glad that she came here with urgency and gave Rhaenyra the message that she needed to give her.
Yeah, I'm glad that's where it just literally was like boom, continuation, go, let's go, right, go, get right into it. Like we knew that's where she was headed, so there was no reason to wait 15, 20 minutes into the episode, and that's why I liked it the best. Yeah, so that was awesome. So then we got we have who was it? Not Eric. Rhaenys comes in and she gives the news to Rhaenyra that her father has passed away, and
it's not the only news she gives, is it? Yeah.
What was it?
I say that's not the only news she gives her, is it? She kind of gives her the news about her father and does that, and then she's like, oh, there's also more.
Yeah, by the way, Aegon is now the king of the Seven Kingdoms, and she did not like hearing that. That's for sure. So, and then, Damon right away jumps on it and says, oh, let me guess. So who killed him? Because, last time he saw him, he knew he was in bad shape, but he also probably didn't think he was on his deathbed. So he right away, blames Allison for that. So, and then we get the, do we get the crazy scene, man? We get the crazy scene with the birth. Wasn't expecting this one. What do you think about that?
Well, it was hard to see. I knew it was coming. Obviously, I knew it was coming, but I say that because they changed things from the book to the show, so it's hard. Like, I'll give you all a book bomb. So she loses the baby in the book, as we see in the episode. The baby is born stillborn. But the reason and the difference from the book to the show is they didn't emphasize with the baby what I wanted them to, and probably they couldn't because of graphical stuff in TV and with it being an age, I don't know. But in the book, the dragon's born with a dragon's tail. It's a deformed baby with a dragon's tail.
So
in the book.
So the kid has a dragon's tail.
Yeah, the baby that she gives birth to from Damon here. The baby's called Visenya, by the way. It was a girl and it was named Visenya. You don't find that out in the episode. You find that out in the book. In the book, Mushroom carries the baby Visenya to the courtyard and burns it. And that's where we get things from Mushroom and all the people that tell different sides of this story. But yeah, the baby was born with a dragon's tail.
So how do they explain that? I mean, like, how do they explain that in the book? Like why?
It's just a line. The baby was born with a dragon because they're incestuous. Because it's
and that's why I was kind of right. And I was kind of thinking that was why the baby had died anyways, just because but they've already had two. It could just be the third one or whatever. But but then obviously you can tell that. The baby was not nearly. She wasn't big enough to have.
It wasn't ready. Yeah, she wasn't
ready,
full term. Right. I don't think.
Yeah, it looked like maybe 6 months or something.
I do like that they gave us the visual dragons roaring when she was in pain. That gave me what I needed to see visually because I knew what was supposed to happen.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense now that's what was kind of happening too. So instead of visually showing it, they still kind of did those like little flashes on the screen.
Yeah, they gave the book readers what they needed to see with the flash screens, and then they didn't destroy everybody's eyes by giving us a baby with a dragon's tail.
And I mean, it was still pretty darn graphic, anyways, even without that. I mean,
definitely, like that's what this show is all about. But and I hate it. I hate that House of the Dragon is basically all about kids dying. It feels like that this season. It really does feel like that this season.
There's a ton, man. I mean, I'm trying to think off the top of my head now, like how many. I was just telling my wife before we went live. I said, I'm excited to be able to watch it now, like all within like maybe 3 or 4 days, just kind of knock it out and watch the whole thing as one whole like movie or something, just to kind of see like. I just really want to go episode by episode. Just like I've done Game of Thrones so many times. I think it'll be cool.
Shout out to a couple of people in the chat as well, because I know Mitchie from LSAP is in here, and Jeremy, and everyone else is in here.
Yeah, we have Mitchie in here. What's going on, man? I kept saying that the baby isn't going to come out right. Yeah, I kind of was thinking the same thing. I really was. I mean, I was kind of that's exactly what I was saying.
So are you speechless in a good way or a bad way, Jeremy? That's what I was going to ask you. Yeah. Speech in a good way or a bad way? I'd be interested to know.
Yeah, it just that whole scene, it just reminded me of like, the first episode when Emma was doing it, and now Rhaenyra, it's kind of like come full circle. Now she's going through the same thing. Now, do you think that it was provoked because of all the news she received? I mean, I kind of assumed that. Yeah.
Yeah, the news that she got from Alicent and the fact that her dad was dead and that Aegon was on the king, that gave in this all emotions, and it caused her to lose that.
Yeah, so like as soon as I saw the blood, I knew something was wrong. As what Baby Ice is saying, and I agree. I almost thought this was going to be like a miscarriage, and that was going to be it. But they went like the baby was almost like, I mean, it was pretty big considering. I wanted bloodshed with. Oh yeah, man. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll definitely get to that. Yeah. Dude, I was thinking some thinking bad thoughts for him there, but all right. So yeah, so then she tells her sons, Jason, Luke, about their grandfather and how he has passed away, and they're obviously not very happy, and they want to just go do something about it. She kind of talks them down a little bit. And then we also hear about this. I think this is actually what we actually hear about Corliss's fever breaking, and he's on the move. People just don't know where he is yet. Let's see. After that,
dude, I'm just going to share a screen with you because
go ahead.
Perfect. I've got the movie playing in the background, but I'm paused it, so it's not going to play while you're live.
Very good.
The episode. You're telling me that they're real brothers?
That's what I'm saying, man. Right there, I saw. I'm like,
one's dark, one's brown.
The older one. Yeah, I was like, he's actually kind of looking like Kristen Cole a little bit. And I had said that in my last video that I thought.
I just cannot see it, and they haven't confirmed it in the show, and they haven't confirmed it in the book. We don't know, but maybe they're going down their own route that maybe Kristen will be.
It's just they totally look different. But like you said, this is the scene. I'm like, man, you could just tell the hair, the hairstyles they have completely different. Think back to like when we saw Game of Thrones. I mean, Rickon and Bran. I don't know. Rickon and Bran, I guess, didn't look alike, but I don't know. I mean, Jon and Robb, even though Jon was a bastard, but he's still with Ned Stark's kid. They look more similar than those two,
Yep, definitely. I just seen that then. I paused it through and I was like, I'm going to ask Edlis again what he thinks.
Yeah. What's up, Bob?
Welcome in. You're not late. We've literally just got started, buddy. So welcome in.
Yeah, we haven't even got to the good stuff yet. We just got done talking about the crazy bird scene, though. All right, so then we see Damon, and he kind of he goes down into or am I skipping? Oh no, that's right. Damon actually goes outside with Caraxes because he's trying to recruit the Kingsguard that was over there in the Dragonstone, and he's kind of basically saying, like, listen, bro, I'll give you a choice. You can either die right here on the spot, or you can pledge your loyalty to Rhaenyra. So that was obviously a pretty easy choice for them.
Just before that scene, we had Rhaenyra tell Luke that he wasn't to fight. He was the heir to her, suppose whatever's left of it, throne, and that he wasn't to fight. Nothing was to happen until she was out of bed. And then you can hear you come to the next scene. Damon's giving orders to these people saying, we need to do this, we need to do that. And what I found really cool was Luke comes in and says, no, you won't be doing that. My mother has given orders. And I thought, well done, you're standing up to Damon. I thought that. I thought, well done, dude. You've come in, you've done what you've just been told that you're going to be the next in line, and you're acting like you're next in line. And I like that.
Yeah, kind of shut Damon down, but Damon's kind of like he's still kind of wanted. He kind of still he's like, come with me, I'll show you how to do it. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and then Damon takes them outside and says, "I'll show you what real loyalty is. Let's go and see this."
That's exactly right. And then we have the short little funeral. That was pretty sad. that was just
completely made up for the show, but yeah.
Yeah, but then it's short lived because then we have Eric with the E that comes up, right? We got it right this week. Eric with the E comes up, and he brings her the news. He brings her the crown. He brings her all the news she needs to know, and he brings his loyalty, and basically everyone around him, everyone kind of takes the knee except for one person. Who was that one person, Brian? Just one person did not take the knee.
I'm not 100%.
What?
I didn't catch that. I didn't catch who didn't take the knee.
Whoa, I know something Ryan doesn't. Chat, who doesn't take the knee? Who doesn't take the knee, chat?
I'm scanning through. Who doesn't?
One person didn't take the knee. Bob's got it.
Let me get back to the chat. Princess Rhaenys didn't take the knee.
She did not take the knee there. She was standing the whole time. Yep. I thought that was really interesting. I thought for sure they were going to get a powerful moment where she does it, and she doesn't do it. So that was
actually. Share the screen with you again.
Yeah. She does not take it.
She's there on the very left.
Yep.
Everyone's kneeling. She's standing at the end.
Yeah. But I don't know why these guards aren't, but we'll talk to them later about that.
you bring that down so I don't have to get rid of it. So that if we need to bring it back up again, you can just bring it up.
Yep. So yeah, so that was pretty cool then. But then like that, I put in my notes. I put let's go because like you just knew like okay now we're starting to get some people. We're starting to get some real players in here. I mean Eric must be a pretty quick runner because I mean he got there pretty quick. But that was I loved it. I was like as soon as everyone took the knee, I'm thinking like Daenerys vibes a little bit and all that good stuff.
You got a very good point, Eric. Eric did get there quite early. Rhaenys flew on a dragon, and Eric arrived the same day Rhaenys did.
Yeah, I mean, it was like he was like maybe an hour behind.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think of that.
I mean, I'll have to pull up my map again and see how far is it away again? King's Island, the Dragonstone. I mean, I know it's not too far, but
Jeremy gave a good thing here. He goes, yeah, Rhaenys didn't take the knee. However, I felt that she is showing loyalty to her husband, who would make that choice later. Yeah.
Oh, is that the one? Okay, yeah, there it is. Yeah. And we'll get there. But yeah, that was great. Now, when we get there, I have a question about that though too. But all right. So let's see where we at here. All right. So here, this is when then we get to see the map table again, and they light it up, and I was like, bro, I need that. I need this. Like I gotta have it.
Like, so I know a really good guy that is a woodwork dude. He's Poppy, Missouri, Charles. Dude, when I move to America, I'm going to commission this table. We're going to be 2 of them made. 1 sent to me, 1 sent to you.
All right, let's do it, man. That is when I saw that, I'm like, oh my god, how great would that look in my basement?
Like, what a cool effect that they added the fire underneath it, because this isn't from the original source. So it's really, really cool that they did this.
Yeah, that thing,
and it kind of adds up to the map that we get on the HBO website. It, that's all littered with gold names and stuff on that. So
I was looking at, like, when I was doing my last video on the family tree, after the video was over, I kind of was going through all the map and stuff and was kind of like trying to pinpoint where things are, and that's exactly what it reminded me. I'm like, oh man, that's really cool the way it's lit up, and yeah, that was awesome. I love that, man. Let's see what we got. Simon's in the chat. What's going on?
You want to bring that down? You want to bring it off?
Yeah. Bob's saying it's look good on my wall.
Chat. Where can I buy one? Mitchie, we all know a really good woodwork dude, so we just got to send Charles the plans.
Bob, I think I need that in my basement, though, man. I think I need that to sit around it, play Phase 10 or something.
Oh yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So we find out then, after all that, Corlys is on his way to Dragonstone, which we probably kind of assumed. And he, he's always on the ship. He's heading there and everything like that. And then we get, you want to say anything about that scene? I mean, we pretty much covered it. That was, I think, the whole base of that. And they were setting up their allies and who they think they have and who they can get and that kind of thing. We talked about, the Errands in the Vale, right? And then we have, or within
the Starks, Baratheon.
Yeah.
Leading up for the first episode of season 2, because that's where we will be in season 2, episode 1. We will be in Winterfell.
Yep. And then we see Otto come up in that old famous bridge that we saw back in, was it like episode, was it 2 or 3?
2 or 3, yeah.
Yeah. And so that we see him, he's talking to Daemon, and basically talking
about his Kingsguard.
Yep, talking about how he wants to deliver a message, and he only wants to deliver it to Rhaenyra, and then kind of out of nowhere, out of the clouds again, she comes swooping down with Cyrax, and man, I'll tell you what, here I thought we were getting to death, man. I thought she was just gonna burn them all. I really, really did. I was hoping, but I'm glad Otto's not dead because I do like him as a character. But I really thought that was gonna be the death that we were gonna get in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously you knew what happened in the book, but I mean, what did you think?
It was good. I was liking the throwback to the letter that Alicent gave to Rhaenyra and tried to get her to see, look, we had a friendship and a love for each other back in the day. Jeremy stands by that he thinks that they were maybe some sort of romantic relationship back in the day, that maybe they were in love with each other a bit too much, maybe. We don't know. It's never, it's never alluded to. But yeah, no, fantastic scenes. Again, on the edge of my seat the first time watching it, thinking, "Oh shit, Otto's dead." Like Damon's just going to slice his head off. He did it so fast with Damon, so what's going to stop him from doing this? And it just shows the massive cojones that Otto's got.
Oh, he's a boss, man. He's, like I said, I've said it in several lives. Like he is one of my favorite characters, just because
he's one of the favorite lines in this show, or a couple of lines, is he's talking about Aegon, his grandson, and he's going, he is named after the Conqueror. He wears the Conqueror's crown. He has the Conqueror's blade. Everything about him is legitimate.
Yeah.
He is the crown personified, and the history of the Targaryen family personified within himself because of his name, his crown, and his helmet. Doesn't mean jack shit when the last king didn't point you out for it,
Right. And then I love too how in the scene Rhaenyra just walks up to him and basically just takes the hand of the king pin and just like tosses it like it means absolutely nothing. I think just signifying that Aegon is no king and not the king and everything else. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I wonder, they're going to have to go find a blacksmith or something to make a new one of those, huh?
We don't know.
Yeah. Or maybe they have a closet full of them or something, or a drawer full of them.
So what do you think of her looking regal now, looking like queen? Like with 10 episodes in, and we've now finally seen her with a crown on her head. What do you think?
When she put the crown on the head, I mean, it looks really good, and I don't have a problem with like so a lot of people have been saying like season 1 was a little bit slow. Like you can't just like go right into it. Like I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and I'm like, "Would you remember Game of Thrones like season 1? Like there wasn't really that much action. Like you had that small sword scene between Ned and Jaime Lannister. You had the kid you had Bran get tossed out the window, but like there was no real action. I mean, I think there's more action in this season than there was in Game of Thrones, the first one. Like as far as actual fighting and dragon, I mean, season 1 of Game of Thrones was still one of the better seasons to me. I mean, I know it starts off a little bit, I don't know what's the word, like I don't know, it's
fantasy, ominously fantasy. It gives you the White Walkers, it gives you this at the beginning, and then it teases you, with a long tease all the way in it. And that's why we love Game of Thrones, because that first season allows us to fall in love with the characters that we fall in love with,
Yeah. And it's like, it was again, they took longer to walk to different areas where in House of the Dragon they're not doing that. But again, that is okay as long as it's consistent. And I feel like it's been consistent the whole season.
You also need to remember, in House of the Dragon, we're not all around this bloody map. We're Driftmark, Dragonstone, and King's Landing. Pretty much the only 3 areas, and they're right here. Whereas in Game of Thrones, we're going Starks, which is Winterfell. We're going the Wall, which is even further north. Then we're going all the way down to King's Landing, which is as south as you can get. Then we get introduced to Dawn, and we get introduced. There's so much more traveling around this massive map in Game of Thrones than there is in House of the Dragon.
Because, like I said, if you go to that website, I mean, we could pull it up.
Pull it up, yeah. I can bring it up.
You want to bring it up? I mean, you just look at the map and just look at where these areas are compared to like where we were in season 1 of Game of Thrones. Like you could just like Winterfell. I mean, now I understand why Tyrion took so long to get back. Like, I mean, it was like forever. I mean,
come on, load
and when the Hound and Arya are traveling, I mean, it's a huge difference.
Imagine they've turned the map off in 2 years.
Oh, I know, and like I said, like when you show the map here of where we're actually in season 1, and this, I mean, yeah, Eric got there a little early, but we also don't know the exact time, and we also don't know, like, I mean, I assume that Rainey's got there pretty darn quick.
Can you try and pull it up? Because I can't pull it up.
It's not coming up.
It's stopping at 90%. Imagine that HBO just took it down until next season.
They took it down?
They haven't. I can't load it. It's not loading for me. So do you want to try loading it?
Oh yeah. Let me try and grab it real quick. I think
I'll also put the link in chat for everybody. It's hbo.com/house-of-the-dragon/map of Westeros. I'll put it in the chat for everybody to click so they know what we're talking about, but we'll also try and show it on stream But yeah, it's not loading for me. It's getting just around to the thingy and then it stops.
Okay, I got it up.
Cool. It must be just my Wi-Fi.
All right, I think this is it right here.
Umty says Game of Thrones covered a lot more characters, which was because the way Martin writes and why he still don't have another book. Exactly, Umty.
Yep.
So yeah, as we go here, we zoom in. We can see on this screen here basically way too much than we need to see in this season. Like if you zoom in, Headless, like that's basically all we need. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so let's see, where are we at here? So here's Storm's End. Here's
So you want
King's
to go
Island.
up Driftmark and Dragonstone?
Yep. So here's King's Landing right there, and
Yep.
I mean, right here's Driftmark and Dragonstone. I mean, so we're not like talking like but like
It's just over the water. Yeah.
right, exactly right. And I mean, look, I'm still going up, and here's the Vale right here, which is funny. I always thought the Vale was like further north, but I'm still going, and we still see Winterfell's right here.
Winterfell's just there. Yeah. And then the wall's even further up.
Yeah, and the wall is
right behind the logo. Yeah.
Right, look how far that is. So yeah, I mean, so it makes sense that this would have taken a lot longer than I mean, like I said, this is basically where we're at for the entire season. For the most part.
We don't really go anywhere. We see Harrenhal when there's a fire at the end. We see Pentos when Daemon goes over there with his children.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see Storm's End in this episode. We don't go anywhere apart from the little center.
And Kingswood is just that's where they do their hunts. Those kings. Yeah. So so we don't literally leave this area.
No, we don't at all. Yeah. Until next season, episode 1 of season 2, we will be in Winterfell. So.
Yep. Yeah, I'm excited to see Winterfell again though. Oh my gosh, let's see. I'm just trying to take a look at chat. What we got going on? Let's see.
Hey, BK Phipps.
Welcome to the chat. All right, so let's continue here. So we got. So
yeah, everybody in the chat, if you've seen House of the Dragon and you've seen Lord of the Rings, let us know in the chat which you think House of the Dragon season 1 was better or Lord of the Rings season 1 was better. Let us know.
Yeah, because Lord of the Rings is probably going to be next on my list.
Lord of the Rings. I can't believe I just said Lord of the Rings. House of the Dragon or Game of Thrones. Lord of the Rings is the next on my list.
Oh, I see.
It's next on my list too. Wow.
No, man, it's all good, dude. So what do you like better? What do you like better? Season 1 of Game of Thrones or season 1 of House of the Dragon? Or are you just in the middle? You like both of them?
I prefer Hot D. I prefer Hot D as season 1.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it. Because I do love season 1 of Game of Thrones. I do love it. I've seen that one probably the most of any of the seasons.
Okay, well, I'll be interested to know your thoughts next week if you manage to watch it this week. I'm sure you will.
Yeah. All right. So
Mitchie is probably going to be 2024. She just asked how long do I have to wait because I need more. It's probably going to be 2024. They don't start filming for season 2 until May or June of next year.
Oh, that long?
Yeah, they don't start filming till May. So we're not going to get it next year at all. So it's going to be 2024.
See, I have a real problem with that. Like, I get it. Like, why are they waiting to May?
They probably summer filming. I don't know. Maybe other.
How much snow do they get in the area out there?
That's a good point. But they don't use real snow, do they? They use artificial stuff. So
I mean, usually, right? That's what I thought. I mean,
when you watch the documentary for Game of Thrones, they just used artificial stuff.
Yeah.
So Jon Snow spin-off will be before. Yes, it will be. The Jon Snow show will be before the new season of House of the Dragon.
As long as we get something, man. Like I know sometimes like Game of Thrones would come out like in April, and then like it would I think once or twice it came out like in June or something. But I think like mostly it was April. But they were pretty consistent with that. It does think that we have to wait probably more than a year. It's probably gonna be like a year and a half at least.
2024.
Yeah, it'll probably be like April, May, June, right in that 2024. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Sorry, guys, but yeah, stay tuned to both our channels because I'm not going to stop with the content for Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon and all that stuff. So stay tuned to the channels.
So yeah, so where we leave off? So we got the dragon that we thought we were gonna burn everybody down. So she decides to say, so okay, here now I have a question. So when she takes that piece of paper with the drawing on it, that was from like way earlier in the season, right?
It was in the very first episode when she rips it out of the book and she gives it to her.
Right. Okay. So she's trying
to play, page.
Yeah. So she's trying to play other heartstrings there, and then she basically says, "I'll give my answer in the morning." There's no blood spread or anything like that.
Yeah, she's had a conversation with Arya backstage because she says not today.
Yeah. Yep.
And then it was crazy. I was expecting bloodshed.
Oh God, it's for sure. I thought that's where it was happening. I really did, and I thought that was kind of going to start the whole war.
And let's not get past this scene without talking about Daemon's perfect liners. Like,
oh yeah, I have it written down right here. He goes, "This is. I almost wish now I had this in the Funko Pop. This line. I didn't know about it though. But he goes, dreams didn't make us kings. Dragons did. That's such a great line. And I feel like
you went there.
Huh?
I thought you were talking about the scene on the bridge. I didn't know you went a bit further on.
Oh, I went. Oh, so wait. Oh, so what's
just the scenes on his bridge when he's talking to Otto and he's like, I would rather something else than bend the knee to you, stupid cunt, or something. And I will say it because I'm British and I will say that word. But oh, dude. Yeah, exactly. Bob says they enjoyed the F-bombs in that scene. Yeah, they did.
Yeah. But yeah, so he goes. Well, they go and they get in a small argument, obviously, because he grabs her and stuff, and so I don't know, like what. So why do you think he grabbed her like that? Just to kind of shake some sense into her. What do you think?
So earlier on in the episode, she says something regarding doing nothing yet. She wanted to wait, and he goes, "That's just your father speaking in you." Which is his brother Viserys,
right?
So he was seeing instantly that he was having an effect on her even after death, and then it was crazy that she told him about the prophecy.
Yeah,
like she cleared the room and she says it's about the Song of Ice and Fire and the long night, and I'm like, what are you doing, Rhaenyra? Like, what are you doing? And then he grabs her by the throat, and I thought, like Daemon in the book is hungry for blood constantly, and he's so subdued in the show that I don't know where they're going with it.
He's more chill now than he was in the first 3 episodes. It's kind of strange that he's always on guard. He always wants to I think he always wants to start something, but like you're right though. Like I don't like when what you've explained to me in his book or in the book about what his character is. I don't see it in the show. I mean, we got the little head slice and that kind of stuff. Like, I feel like, man, I feel like we would have killed Otto right there. I really do.
Yeah, in the book, he is so angry all the time and so blood hungry and vicious for it. And in the show, he's not. And I don't know if that's just Matt Smith not able to be able to portray that across. Or like in this episode, Matt Smith kind of let me down a little bit. Like some of the lines of dialogue that he said, especially in this scene and when he was in the room with everybody else, he didn't come across as powerful to me. He was a whiny, squeaky little voice in the corner I heard, and I couldn't get past it. So I don't know. Did you get that at all?
Yeah. I mean, a little bit, but I also think, again, I don't know how the book goes. I think he's also trying not to like step on her toes. Where I still think in the back of his mind, he's like, man, I should be the king. But now that they are, married with, what do they have? 5 kids, 4 kids? I can't even remember.
He's got 2, she's got 3. Yeah.
So they have 5 kids together, but 3 of theirs, but then 5 total. But so yeah, I mean, I just think I think that he, I don't want to say he what's the word I'm looking for, Ryan? I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but
yeah, I'm sorry.
I don't know. I think in the back of his mind, he still is maybe angry that he never had a chance at it. but now also they're older now and everything else. So, but yeah, I did like how she brought up the whole prophecy of Aegon and stuff, and basically, I just wrote down winter is coming, and he had no clue what she was even talking about.
Yeah, she had.
So I actually liked it, and I think
no idea.
No, and I think that's a power move on her part, saying, "Listen, you don't know everything. You don't think you think you know everything, but you really don't. You don't even know this." And that was a big shock to him too, which is why he grabbed her by the throat.
And you've also got to remember, none of this stuff's in the book. None of the prophecy stuff is in the book at all.
Right?
It's never mentioned at all. So,
that's I think that's good by the writers, because they at least they're for the people who have watched Game of Thrones. We already know it's going to happen anyways. It's cool to see all this little backstory from these characters.
They're giving it a connection to people that may go and watch Game of Thrones, because you see the dagger in season 1. You see the cat's paw dagger in season 1, For anybody that hasn't watched it, I'm not going to spoil it, but you'll know with the issues with Bran Stark and all that kind of stuff. So,
right. And then I'm not, so I think this is later on, but I see that Bob had mentioned it, that they keep reiterating how many dragons they have, but that's other. I know. So that is Vagar is huge, man. And
I'm reiterating how many dragons they have, but that's the dragon is gigantic. Yeah, that's Vagar.
Yeah, they're going over it's 13-5 or whatever the heck the number ended up being.
14-4. It was 14-4.
14-4, and I'm thinking, yeah, but they have Vagar. Vagar can just go, well, he might be able to just eat some dragon.
It was 14-4, but he was counting 3 of them that were wild and 3 of them that didn't have riders. So technically, it's not 14-4.
Right, it's 8, something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't even know.
And then he even said that he had a clutch of eggs hibernating too as well. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens with that.
So we move on to Corlys. So he finds out about his brother. His wife, Rhaenys, tells him what happened. Basically, that Daemon basically cut his head off, and it didn't seem like at first I was like, "Man, is he pissed off?" It didn't seem like he was all that pissed. I don't know. I thought that was a little.
He was weird. Pissed. Did you not notice when he goes to the chamber room, he asks where Daemon is, and Daemon isn't there?
So they don't really. So they don't even actually have a scene together at all this episode.
No, they don't.
Him and Daemon. Okay, so they might definitely.
He goes into the room and says, "Where's Daemon?" And she says, "Oh, Daemon had to go away and do something." Clearly, Daemon was hiding away from Corlys because of what he'd just done to Vaemon's head.
True. Yeah.
Corlys could have punished him there.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if how they resolve that in season 2.
I don't know how they're going to resolve it, because in the book,
he's dead.
No, in the book, King Corlys is dead. Lord Corlys is dead.
Oh, so Corlys is already dead at this point?
Yeah, he didn't recover from the fever.
He didn't recover.
No.
So there's 2 characters that are supposed to be dead already that are both alive going to season 2. Okay.
And that's father and son, Laenor and Corlys, are both alive, and they should be dead in the show. So I don't know where they're going with that storyline.
I mean, I kind of like it. I'm glad they're not going 100% with the book, because, like I said, then it keeps.
Yeah, I like it.
Like you. Yeah, exactly. It makes it a little more interesting for you to watch.
Bob says book purists hated it, and I can understand why, because it's not following the books. But I'm not a book purist, so Yeah.
But I mean, every book that gets made into a movie or you can list them off, like even Hunger Games.
The reason why everybody hated Game of Thrones in its later seasons was because they diverged from the books of what George R.R. Martin had written. They didn't have any extra stuff to go from, because George's books stopped after 4 or 5.
That's different, because there were no books.
I know, but now they have a finished story of his writing, and they're still twisting it, and we're still going to get to the point, I think, eventually.
But yeah, I get that. But I still think that there was no material. I mean, I'm sure he gave them ideas where he was planning, but Jesus, I mean, Game of Thrones has been off the air for how many years already? Is it 4, 5?
Mm-hmm. 5 nearly.
The dude's still, I don't know. He's still not done with the book, because now he probably.
I don't think he'll ever be done with it.
I don't think so either. I know, I agree. I mean, who knows? I mean, the dude's 80. Was he 83? I know. I looked this up not that long ago.
It's a great publicity stunt. You have millions and millions and millions of die-hard fans that want to know what happens to Jon Snow on the real side of it in the books, because that's what really matters. If you're, it does to me. I don't care what any TV director wants to go and make. George R. R. Martin started this show, and in my eyes, George R. R. Martin can end it. And I need to know his story of it. But yeah, George R. R. Martin did enjoy the show. He's working with them, every week and all the time. So we'll see how it goes.
How, chat, without looking it up, don't cheat. How would you guys think? Bobby ruined it.
Before we even get the question out, he gives us.
I didn't even get the question out. Yeah, he's 74, so that was off.
Yeah, exactly. So, is he going to be able to continue to write in his 80s? I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean,
although talking of Lord of the Rings, didn't Bilbo Baggins write a story and he was 100 and something years old? So we could do it.
With his level of income, he can stay alive for a while, probably. So the other thing I want to mention with the Corlys and Rainy scene was that he kind of mentioned to her he's kind of like, I'm kind of over this whole trying to get the crown thing, and he's basically like, we're not gonna go with anyone, and we're just gonna do our own thing. Mm-hmm. And I had a feeling that was going to come back, and it does in the episode. But that was an interesting take, and Rhaenys didn't really say much about that either.
She just went along with what he wanted to do, what his plans were.
Yep. Then
Umpty says there are two ways to write a fantasy book. One is outlining it from the beginning to the end, and then the other is just create characters and storylines and try to tie them together at the end.
Yeah.
I can see that. Definitely. Thank you for the input, Umpty. I appreciate it. Yeah. It's good to see you, and it's great that you caught up.
Yeah, I'm glad you're able to catch up too, man. That's, I guess I'm excited to watch it like you did, like watch it in 2 or 3 nights and just kind of like watch it and just. I'm really interested to watch it again. Like I just want to watch the whole thing. I don't want to have to worry about taking notes. I just want to watch. Because basically I've been taking notes basically since episode 2. I think is when I started these live streams. So I think I missed the first one. Well, we did 1 and 2 together. Wasn't that what we did? I think we did 1, or we did 1 through 4. I can't remember now. But all right. So let's see. And then I have this little note here. I put Corlys versus Hightower because he's not very happy with that dude. And this basically is where he then has the big speech about how he can now how they can now use his fleet in his house and how they're in full support of Rhaenyra. And I love the look though that Rhaenyra gives Rhaenys, and she's just kind of like smirking, like, I got your back. Because I still in the back of my mind I kept thinking, man, something's gonna happen with her, because I never really knew where she stood. They've had so many good like conversations that turn to like almost like one person wins as they walk away and the other person's like, damn, I lost that round. That's the way I always saw the relationship, because it happens so many times.
Mm-hmm. Like, I'm just going to share the screen now. I'm going through the episode. I can't get it out of my head, but she just looks so out of place, Rhaenys, in this scene. Like, look at that weird smirk.
Yeah.
It just looks so out of place, and like if I skip through, like, she's concerned.
Go to the scene where she is actually looking, like when Rhaenyra looks back at her.
I think it's just there as she looks away.
Yeah, it's like it's right at the end. It's like, yeah, there it is, right there. It's
you
might have skipped it, but
yeah, it's hard to get it.
Yeah. But that's all right, man. It's no big deal.
But yeah, she's just crazy. I didn't quite understand the. How do I stop sharing that? There we go. I just didn't get the look. She seemed a little bit out of place in this episode for me.
Yeah.
But no, definitely great. Like, Corlys has given his, he's given his ships, he's given his armies, and then he brings up something which is really cool, which again isn't in the books because Corlys is dead at this point, and I have to always preference that. He says, in my fight, I won the Stepstones. They are ours, and I have now got rid of all of the bad guys, and we have stopped any goods coming into King's Landing. We have basically choked off King's Landing from any ports and stuff coming in. So that's fantastic storyline going forward, and that is, you know, them creating their own dialogue and moving forward with it.
Yeah, and they even say, like, you know, the Narrow Sea is now ours. And then and they talk about, like, now they have the ability to actually surround King's Landing by owning that. And then we kind of get into the situation where they're trying to talk about, like, okay, so are we going to try to get the Starks? Are we going to try to get the Baratheons, the Aarons, and all that? And that kind of leads to the, you know, the last couple scenes of the entire episode. I really do hope, though, in season 2. I think you might have mentioned too in the book that they don't really dwell too much on the Starks and Lannisters and stuff, do they?
Not really.
Yeah. So
I think we will in the show.
I'm hoping we do a little bit. Like, I don't want them to take over the series, but I do want them to. I hope there's at least one or two that, like, we care about a little bit.
I don't think we'll care about them. I don't think we'll go that far as to we'll care about the characters. It's all about the Targaryens. So
you don't think they'll make anybody in the Starks like that likable, where it's kind of like, because they know what happens in Game of Thrones and how, like, the Starks just get brutalized basically that entire series. I don't know. I was kind of thinking maybe they might do something.
Maybe. I know that the Stark dude that they're going to go meet is closer to age, as we hear in the episode, he's closer to age to Lucerys than he is Rhaenyra, so he might be able to be bonding with him. And I do like the line as well that they say a Stark has never broken bond, ever. You know, they hold that tradition that a Stark is a loyal person. So yeah, I'd like them to. If HBO do it right, what they should do is they should hire a well-known name for the Stark boy, because he's not going to be in it much. As far as I'm aware, with book knowledge, he's not in it much, but he has a poignant role in the show. Thank you, mods, for getting rid of that real quickly. But, you know, with Game of Thrones, so it's obviously going to be coming in. But yeah, no, I'd like them to probably use somebody well known in the acting world and bring in maybe a celebrity into the show. That
would be kind of cool, actually, to do it that way, because then like at least people would know them, and, you know, it's interesting. It's a good point. Let's see. I'm gonna try to go back and chat. We missed a few of these comments here. I know, right? So Bob says, and how is Voyo secured the twins, or where? So they could cut off supply. Yeah, we kind of talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Umpty says, I think he's talking about Rhaenys.
I wonder if she knows the prophecy and knows what war will cause. She doesn't have a clue what the prophecy is. She just knows about the prophecy. She doesn't know where that's leading. She just knows that a Targaryen needs to be sat on the throne when it comes to the Song of Ice and Fire.
And Baby actually said something very close to that.
Yeah. The prophecy isn't about the war so far. Yeah, that's correct, guys. Without giving spoilers away to anybody that hasn't seen Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I think we're pretty well caught up on the chat. All right, so now we're gonna head in to the
basically the final 20 minutes of the show. So yeah, like up to now in the show, we've just seen Corlys, and we are 40 minutes into the episode.
Right.
And what has happened in this episode? We see Rhaenys return up. She loses a baby. She gets better from that. She meets Corlys, and then we move into the next scene. So when I say nothing really happened in an episode, I can only point out really 4 major parts in the first 40 minutes of this show. In this last episode, so I don't know, a little underwhelmed with the action in the scene, but it paid off for it big time when we get to what we get to.
Yeah. But I think it makes sense, though, because I feel like these scenes, although there's not a lot of action, I still think they're all really important moving forward. I mean, it's like we had to see Corlys again. I mean, we haven't seen this dude since like episode 5, I think. I mean, it's been like a long time, and so it's cool to get him back in there, and at least, you know, they didn't really talk about what he's been doing that much. I mean, I know he was fighting. What was he? Was it Stepstones? Is that where he was at still?
Yeah, he was on the Stepstones. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Fighting the triarchy.
Yeah, it's in. So I mean, that's fine, whatever. But the scene with Damon and Rhaenyra, I thought that was big. Because again, I think he had. I like that he found out that there is a prophecy, and again, I still think it's a power move on her play, saying, "This is why I'm the queen." So to me, that's kind of how way I took it, not knowing obviously what happens, but yeah. Then so then moving forward, then we get to see the we tell let's see, she's talking to her kids, and
we come outside and she's talking to the kids,
and she tells Jacaerys to head up to the north, and Jacaerys
she tells Lucerys. Jacaerys is the younger. Am I wrong? Or am I wrong?
No, I'm not sure either.
I thought it was Lucerys that had to go to Winterfell and Jacaerys went to Storm's End.
I'm pulling up the family tree right now just to make sure.
It still won't load for me, so I don't know what's going on.
Let's see. So, no, Jacaerys is the oldest one.
Oh, okay. So
Jacaerys is the one with the browner hair. That's the older one. And he's the one who's sent up to.
Jacaerys is older. Look at the photograph that I've shared now. I could be completely blanking this, but I've got it shared on the screen. So,
go ahead.
The guy on the left is Lucerys, right?
No. That's Jacaerys.
That's Jacaerys.
That's Jacaerys. That's Jace. Yeah.
But I thought earlier in the episode she called him Luke when she says you are the next heir. I thought she called him Lucerys.
So she's telling Luke that because Jacaerys would be the heir to Dragonstone, where Luke, actually he would actually be the Seven Realms, right? He would actually take over when she died if she gets the throne.
I thought this guy on the left was Lucerys and that he was the older.
That's the older one. So Lucerys would take over. What was it?
The whole throne, and he would take over Driftmark.
Right? Correct.
Because he's a Valyrian, yeah.
Correct.
So yeah, okay. I got it completely wrong.
So let's see, where was I at?
Let's stop sharing that.
So let's see. Oh, here we go. Okay, so Jacaerys heads up to River Run or not River Run. I'm sorry. The Vale, right? He's going up to the Vale and he's heading up to Winterfell. That's where Jacaerys is heading because she wants him to talk to the Aarons and the Starks, and then Luke was headed south to Storm's End to discuss it with the Baratheons.
So you're not the father.
I don't know. I think he is. I really think they're gonna change that. But and then I like the line because they originally before she even talked to them, they were talking about descendant ravens, and then the one line goes, "Well, dragons fly faster than ravens." I thought that was kind of funny too. I like that line. And then so the kids take off. They have their little notes.
Great scene.
Yeah, and then the other thing was too I liked about that scene. She's like, "You guys are going there as like an ambassador, and you're not fighting. You're not a fighter. It's like they're to deliver the message and return home." So I thought that was great because but both those both those kids have like a little fighter underneath them now. I think since that dinner scene with Aemon and Aegon, that.
Well, you see them training on the beach earlier in the episode. You see them training with each other and fighting each other. So, and he gets annoyed. The older bully gets annoyed with the younger one because he's like, "What are you doing? Like, you need to be better at this." The CGI looked great when the kids took off on their dragons fight. All says I agree. Probably one of my favorite scenes from the episode was when they all took off on the dragons. And there was 3 dragons because there was 2 boys and Meleys. Meleys was going to fly too.
Yep. And then she had mentioned too that she was going to take Meleys and kind of like patrol, which we didn't really see, but
no, we'll see that season 2.
Yeah. And then we got this is where Damon goes down into the like the caves or caverns or underneath King's Landing, and so this is where we were talking off camera for a little
It's
bit.
actually Driftmark that he goes to. It's not. It's
Or I'm sorry, not King's. My bad. Yeah.
It's not
Driftmark.
King's Landing. Yeah,
Sorry,
he's in Dragonstone. Sorry, it's the mountain
Right.
next to Dragonstone.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, Driftmark. I meant. And then so do you have the picture of the dragon?
I'm just getting to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll pull
just
that up.
Kind of there. Trying to get a good shot of it.
So this is where I was a little confused because we know he mentioned a ton of dragons earlier in the episode. So I first thought that this was going to be Dreamfire, who we have
it's not Dreamfire.
seen, or we did see Dreamfire one brief scene, like episode 6, I think it was. But you want to go ahead and you want to go through what dragon it is?
Sure. So this isn't Dreamfire. Dreamfire is Helena's dragon in the green side. Dreamfire was the dragon that we see in the dragon pit when Aemon is teased with the pig in episode 3, maybe. He's teased with the pig and he goes down. Aemon goes underground and he sees that dragon that breathes fire, similar to this scene, but it's not the same dragon. This dragon is Vermithor. This dragon hasn't been flown for almost 36 years, and his last rider was Jaehaerys I, the old man that we see in the first episode of House of the Dragon when he chooses Viserys as king over Rhaenys, the queen that was never was. So this is King Jaehaerys' dragon, and this is Vermithor. He hasn't been ridden, hasn't had a rider for 36 years, and this is what Daemon was doing. He was taming this dragon, which is again a massive book bomb because that is not something you can do in. As a Targaryen, you cannot have 2 dragons. It doesn't work. But in the show,
so basically, what's up, Duzone? And what's up, Anthony? So basically, he's trying to own 2 dragons. But we'll come to see that we know that because it was mentioned earlier in the season that dragons really are not owned by the rider.
And it's noted on earlier on in the season as well. King Viserys says something to Rhaenyra that it is a vision that people believe that we control dragons. They clearly don't control the dragon. You know, they can fly it. I don't know. When you watch Game of Thrones, Dany talks to her dragons, and they understand English. It seems like they understand her words, and you know, not so much English because she speaks High Valyrian to them when she wants them to breathe fire and stuff. But I don't know. It's a big question going forward.
So I was thinking about that. Do you think that Dany has a little more control over her dragons because she did raise them since like they actually hatched? Like all these other ones are kind of, they have them as babies, but how much time are they actually spending with them as a baby? Like who? Like, is it just the mothers of the dragons that are actually like taking care of them, and then
a dragon egg is put in the cot of a child, and it forms that bond. But you don't really hear much of them actually playing with a dragon or learning when the dragon's a baby. You don't really hear of it.
Okay.
And it's a big dragon, so he will be the second. Sorry, I want to be correct. Vermithor will be the 3rd biggest dragon alive. First being Vhagar, second being a spoiler, 3rd being Vermithor.
Okay. All right. Very good. So Caraxes is not that big of a dragon then?
No. Caraxes he's still a baby. He's actually still a baby right now. Like, kind of. He should get bigger.
Okay. Yeah, because and then they do mention the dragon's name that Luke is on, and I think it's Arax, yeah, and they don't really they mentioned it. I think he says it one time, maybe twice in the episode. But I was like, oh wait a minute, who's this dragon when he first got on? So I actually paused it because I wanted to look it up, and then I saw it. So I'm like, okay, and then like 2 seconds later, of course, he says the name. But what's going on? How you doing, man?
Hey, Poppin.
So I wrote this.
It's on there now. Vermithor is on the website now. Vermithor.
So
On the dragon
wait,
section
what?
of the website, the very
The
bottom
Dragon
next to
Index?
Vagar, we have Vermithor, and
Let me
it
see.
says in the
Oh,
dragon
sure.
index, riders of note, Jaehaer is the first, status alive. Vermithor known as the Bronze Fury, is the largest and oldest living dragon after Vagar in the books, but we know that there's more coming.
Was
He
Arax
was
on
ridden
there?
by Jaehaerys. Yeah, there's Arax. No, he wasn't. These are all new.
Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah, it does say deceased, which is a spoiler for later on, but everybody should know that now.
yeah, I'm sure people are watching and know. That's fine.
Rest in peace, Arax. I miss you.
Seriously, right?
So just click the X up there next to it. There you go. And then we'll go down to the bottom and you should see Vermithor, the Bronze Fury.
Uh-oh.
Mute.
Time to get copyrighted.
We won't get copyright for that.
Yeah, no.
There we go. I added.
Oh, okay. So they actually have all the names, but we just don't. If you click these, we don't know them yet, or do we?
Yeah,
or do they give us information?
No. It kind of was once ridden by Queen Alysanne Targaryen, which was Jaehaerys' wife.
Jaehaerys' wife, right? Okay. All right. So we're looking for
the very bottom one, Vermithor.
Oh, there we go. Okay, there it is.
And that's Jaehaerys Targaryen. He was the rider. The dragon is alive, and it was known as the Bronze Fury.
The largest and oldest living dragon.
Since then, Vermithor has remained unclaimed.
So they're saying it's the largest and oldest? Oh, after Vagar. Okay.
Yeah, which isn't technically true because there's another dragon that's bigger.
Okay.
But we'll get to that.
Okay. All right.
So
cool.
Damon says a line in this show that there are 3 wild dragons. One of those 3 dragons will be bigger than Vermithor.
I like it. Bigger the dragons, the better.
But yeah, so we're talking about dragons, so we'll continue talking about dragons because this episode is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool to see some this. I think this is definitely the most dragons we've seen in one episode. We saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think it was 5 dragons total. It was Cyrax, Vagar.
Oh no, we've seen 6. Yeah, we've seen 6 then because we've seen the two boys.
2 boys. Vagar,
Cyrax.
Yep. That's 5 right there. I don't think we saw any.
Oh no, we counted Arax, didn't we?
Yeah.
Caraxes. We see Caraxes.
Oh, Caraxes too. Right. So we did see 6. Yep.
Yeah.
So we saw 6 dragons. That's cool.
Yes, Fidel.
Is the king? Oh, so he knows.
Yeah. The dragon that will be bigger than Vermamax is the cannibal dragon that we will see in hopefully season 2. It's just a complete jet black dragon, which is going to be cool.
I'm trying to think back, so in Game of Thrones, I know Drogon was always a little redder than the other 2, but I always thought that they tried to do, I'm trying to think. So Viserys is the one who gets turned into the ice dragon. So, well, spoiler alert. But so was he the one that was supposed to be more of a green tint or the yellowish brown tint? Do you remember?
Yellowish brown is Viserion.
So Viserys. Oh, did I say Viserys? Viserion is the browner one. Okay, so
the yellow and
brown
one.
Rhaegar
green one is Rhaegar.
Green one. Okay.
Yeah.
But
so you have the Funkos up there. I can tell. There's my 3 dragons.
Yeah. I always had a hard time though figuring out which one was which, except for Drogon, of course. But so I do like how they're making them all look a little bit different, which is really cool. All right, so I have this written down. So when Luke lands in Storm's End, right when he gets off, you see Vagar. You have it up.
I've got that. Yeah, I've got the shot right there.
You see Vagar. I thought it was Godzilla, and I just write down. I go, Luke. Oh shit! I'm like, I just had. I was not getting good vibe here. I was not.
So would you have got back on your dragon and just gone?
I would have got the hell out of there, man.
Would you have just flew around for a bit and go, yeah, I'm not going down there?
Oh, as soon as you saw him, like you already knew then that Aemon was there. Like you knew. But hey, man, you gotta hand it to him. He still marched in there like he owned the place a little bit, and the so who is it? Who's Baratheon? What's his first name? I can't remember his name now, but
Oh,
um, I want
Lord
to.
Baratheon. We'll say Lord Baratheon right now.
Yeah, Lord Baratheon. Yeah.
I'll have his name tomorrow.
Yeah, but he, he's kind of like, well, who are you gonna marry? Because they're offering me, marriage and part, get myself, my family into King's Landing, and but yeah, like he's like, oh yeah, I can't do that. I've already been promised.
Mm-hmm.
But so, what did you think about that scene, and how close is that to the books then?
Yeah, that's bang on.
That's okay. So right, what? Yeah.
Yeah, Aemond arrives earlier, and he offers a pact for marriage to turn to the green side because they have a stronghold there, which is really cool. I don't know. I knew what was coming, so
Yeah.
I want to ask you: would you rather? Obviously, you would rather lose an eye. You'd rather poke out your own eye than end the way it ended, right?
Yeah, but at the time, who wants to do that, right?
Yeah, I know. In the show, without the storm, Arax would have got away from Vhagar. Arax is quicker and more agile than Vhagar, but because of the storm, it gave her the advantage.
Yeah. I kind of had a feeling what was going to happen. I actually thought he was going to get burned. But when he dipped down into the like little, the cavern, or not the cavern, but like the little cannon, I guess you want to call it. But
Beggar's Canyon from Star Wars.
Beggar's Canyon, yeah, where they shoot wand whaps all the time.
Yeah.
I kind of like, okay, maybe he'll have a chance, but I kind of saw it coming because I'm like, it's toward the end of the episode. I knew something was going to happen. Like, there's no way that he was going to get away. And then in the back of my mind, I'm like, is there any way that they would kill off Aemond? I was like, he's too much of a bad guy for that, I think. But yeah. So then so before he gets munched on, so Arax, right? I think right,
Arax. Yeah,
Arax. So Arax shoots his flames at Vhagar. So do you think he's just doing that because he's just defending himself?
So yeah, I think he was freaked out by the storm because when he runs out of the building, he has to tell his dragon, listen to me, obey me, do as I say. He says Rebas, Amas, and all these kind of Valerian words to him. Yeah. And I just think he was freaked out. The dragon was freaked out. It's probably never been in that kind of storm before, and it was being chased by Godzilla with wings, And it was pretty creepy. Like I was more scared watching tonight's episode than I was watching Halloween Ends.
I told you.
Like I was genuinely scared for that dragon and for Lucerys now that we found out it wasn't Jacaerys, because I assumed Jacaerys died. Yeah, Aemon Blue Eye, lol, says Vidal.
I skipped the blue eye. That was pretty cool.
I kind of gave that as a spoiler last week, but I didn't spoil it. House of the Dragon spoiled it because they put it in the trailer.
Yeah.
And when they put things in front of me, I'm going to notice them. So I kind of let everybody know that he had a blue eye a week early. But if I hadn't have done that, we wouldn't have seen the fantastic photos from Lily this week. So it was pretty cool.
That's right.
But yeah, no, Aemon had the one eye. He says take an eye out, doesn't he? He says an eye for an eye. You think you're going to get away with running around and trying to go against my brother and stuff in the throne and all this? And old Baratheon man stands up and says, no bloodshed in my hall, Milky the all-seeing, says Vidal. He says, no bloodshed in my hall. And I was like, oh, I wish you'd have just let them fight because it would have been better. Because I knew what was coming, and then he lets him run out, obviously. Gets in his dragon, the dragon's spooked.
Yeah, and then maybe the dragon would have survived. Sometimes I care more about the dragon.
Yeah, to answer your question, I do think that the dragon was protecting itself as well as the rider. Like he knew it was in trouble.
Yeah.
He didn't. So just for everybody watching, Lucerys didn't order his dragon Arax to breathe fire on Vhagar. He did it himself. The dragon did it himself. Because when he's flying off from me, he says, "No, why did you do that? Why did you do that?" It became clear that no one controls the dragons when the little one. Yeah, exactly. And then even Vhagar got pissed. And then you see Aemon be like, whoa, no, what you doing, Vhagar? What you doing? And Vhagar goes after him. And then, yeah, one of the most anticipated scenes of this entire 10-week that I have been waiting for everybody to see. I just didn't know how they were going to end the show, dude, because Kristen Cole killing the Maester in the last episode is the start of the House of the is the start of the Dance of Dragons.
Okay.
Because that's where it really starts. Then we move to this. So I didn't know where they were going to leave it, where they were going to end it, because it just goes blow for blow for blow for blow for blow constantly now after this.
So how did you think season 1 was going to end? Like after you read the book and you kind of knew it, did you know this is where it was going to end, or did you think it was going to end earlier, later?
I believe that this could have been where it ended. It was a big point. It was a big pivotal point. And also, I don't know if I've told a lot of people this, but there's 27 chapters in the book. Season 1 was 1 chapter. Just 1 chapter in this book. A line of succession. The Targaryen line of succession is where it's. That's it. Just 1 chapter.
Crazy.
And it's crazy that we got 1 chapter of a book and we got 10 episodes.
Yeah, because you were telling me like the first 14 chapters, was it? Was it 14?
Yeah, it's nothing to do with. Yeah, the first 14 chapters is nothing to do with the show.
Has nothing to do with the show at all. It's just all the backstory from the other characters that we've.
It's the Jaehaerys that you see at the beginning. Yeah.
Right, and they kind of skipped all that in the show. But again,
it gives you more of an understanding as to whose people's dragons are now, because when I seen the dragon, I knew it was Vermithor, so I'm like, okay, that's Vermithor, that's his dragon, But for anybody who's not a book reader and hasn't got any of this knowledge, it's kind of annoying that they didn't explain any of this stuff. But that's why they gave us the map, I think.
Yeah. Well, and then
that look on the Queen's face.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna skip to the scene with the dragon because I want to show it.
Yeah, it gets torn apart.
Look at that shot. Look at that shot.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. It's interesting though, they showed like his cape. Like the kid is so small compared to the dragon. Like
as soon as I seen this shot the first time, I knew what was gonna happen. Like, don't give us beautiful scenes like this and then just and you can even see dragons in pieces and Aemon's like, what the hell happened here? Like, I didn't mean for that. I think he's a little bit shocked as well. He's like, oh crap.
Oh yeah. And my final note was Aemon now knows that he fucked up big time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be curious to see if like Baratheon, like how's he gonna feel about this? Because now he knows that they're coming after him too, probably.
Yeah, and then we cut to this scene, which was just so powerful. Like Darth Vader when he puts the helmet on in Star Wars, like you get the first breath. This is what I felt like. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
She took. You got to remember at the beginning of this episode, she was pissed. She was pissed because she just lost her baby. She'd lost her father, and now she's lost her son.
Yeah.
And really, if you think about it, he might be the only one that connects her to Mr. Strong, who she was in love with, who she enjoyed being with. Because if that's what we're going down the road to believe, that Kristen Cole is the father of the older one, then it's just powerful. It's just so powerful. Aemon drew first blood, or did Vhagar drew first blood, Fidel? Because I don't think Aemon had anything to do with it.
Yeah, but Aemon still is the one who decided to get on the dragon and follow him around to toy with him. So, I mean, he's not completely innocent in this.
No, he's not innocent at all. But the children are innocent to an extent because this is the falling out and the quibbles of the adults and their parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. The children were just brought into this. The children were forced into this. I don't know. I feel sorry for Aemon in this. And I just don't know. We're going to see where it's going to go forward. Book-wise, Aemon's storyline is one of the best character storylines in this show's history that everyone will love. So I can't wait for that. But yeah, that's the end of the episode, dude. We get to that scene there where she's looking badass, and it's the end of season 1.
Yeah. I just it just sucks that we have to wait so long now. That's as soon as it was over, I'm like, this is why I didn't want to watch it like Saturday. Because I'm like,
so we say 2024 and we think that's going to be a long time because we are 2022, and I'm sorry to cut you up, but we are almost into 2023. We're only like 2 months out of it, so it's really only going to be 13 months, 14 months. It's not going to be 24 months.
No, I get it. I mean, you figure if they start filming in April or May, I mean, it's usually about a year before it actually comes out. So that's why I'm saying like it probably will be like April, May, June of 24. So we're about 17 months away. 17, 18. Yeah.
Baby Ice, Luceris died. Luceris is the younger one with the black hair.
Yeah, the younger one died.
Luceris Valerian, so Luke Valerian. He died with black hair.
We saw did we see Joffrey in this? Yeah, very, 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 very small scene. I'm gonna pull this back up. If we go here.
So I've been completely getting them confused all the way through it. I assumed Jacaerys was the younger one and Lucerys was the older.
Yeah, so now you can see right here. Yeah, so Lucerys is the middle child. It's older, middle, and then young. So
yeah. So Jacaerys is the brown-haired boy, and he is the oldest, and he is the heir to the king. He is the heir to the Iron Throne after Rhaenyra.
Oh, so they did. So
they called her Visenya. They did call her Visenya. Thank you, HBO.
Yep. So they did change it, or yeah. So they put the name there. So we have Aegon the younger.
Aegon the younger, Viserys.
Yeah, Viserys, and then
Visenya.
Visenya, who didn't survive. Yeah. So it's pretty. I like how they update it right away too. So this is such a helpful guide. That's why I made that video on it.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, in my video, I never even went this far over. I didn't even realize they were there. I think I stopped there. I didn't even go all the way over.
Should have got people to send you feet pics so you can get the extra couple of seconds on the clip. Because it's only the strongs.
So have we?
Daeron. Daeron is her fourth child that we haven't met yet.
We haven't met Daeron either.
And I did want to let everybody know that I gave misinformation last week. Daeron is the younger of all of the children with Alicent and Viserys. He is the youngest, not the oldest.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's right. You did say that.
Yeah, I remember I sent you an email. I sent you a text straight after and said I apologize for misinforming.
That's right. You did. Yeah. I remember. Yeah. You're right. So Daeron is the
youngest of Alicent's children with Viserys. Yes.
Yeah, we haven't even seen.
No, we'll see him in season 2.
But we didn't even see her have was she pregnant with him that we seen or no?
No.
Oh, so she was okay. So he died, and so she's pregnant then. Okay.
It probably happened in that 6-year time gap.
Sure.
6-year time jump.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you have the 2 children from Aegon and Helena, Jaehaerys and Jaehaera,
which we really haven't seen much of.
We haven't seen much of in the books. I'll be interested to see. In the books, they are deformed. They have like 5 hands, 6 fingers on one hand, and it's pretty crazy. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So I mean, they're sister. So what? They're
brother and sister.
They're brother and sister. Okay, I was trying to see if yeah. Okay.
So yeah, they have deformed babies, which is pretty cool, and they should have a massive role next season. We'll see where they go, but yeah, the whole character guide is fantastic, and everybody definitely needs to check it out.
Yeah, I'll link that in this video too. If you know, for people who are watching the rewatch, I'll link that in the video again because it's super informative, and like I said, you can click on any of the characters too, which is really neat. So. All right, man. Well, what do you think? We could do this again tomorrow on your stream, but right now, what do you give the season as a whole? 1 out of 10. What do you guys think? Chad, you can chime in as well. 1 through 10. 10 being I don't know.
So I'm gonna.
Whatever your favorite season of Game of Thrones was, I guess.
It all mashes together for me. I don't have favorites in a sense. I'm gonna say it's a 10.
You think they nailed it?
Yeah. I think they nailed it. I also have that nostalgic feeling back. I'm happy now that we have Game of Thrones. I'm now absolutely, and everyone might feel that I'm very Joffrey-like of me to say this, but I am absolutely loving the fact that all of you people that jumped on late are now experiencing what it takes to get now are experiencing what it feels like to have such a fantastic show end, and then you have to wait for it to come back. Because all the people that I've shown have binge watched it. You know, they've all had 1 to 8 of Game of Thrones available to watch, and now people will be like, "We're watching House of the Dragon," and they haven't got that. You know, you can't binge watch it.
Yeah,
And I'm going to give it a 10, purely because for me, for an opening season, it was fantastic. Fidel says 7 of the episodes, 7 for episode 10, and overall 9 for season 1. Okay, yeah, this episode was better than last week for me.
yes, it was better for me. It's. I mean, again, the last 15 minutes is what makes the episode. But again, I still think it's important to go through what they went through. With the conversations, and it just sets up so much, because there's a few loose ends here that we got to cover in season 2 now. It's not just the war. There's definitely a loose ends. You know, think of Damon and what's his face, Corlys, and you know, there's a couple other ones as well.
Okay,
Yeah, I would definitely
go ahead.
I would definitely say the season for me was like I'm probably like a 9.5. The only
I'm
reason
glad
why
that you're high and it's scoring it so high. I'm glad.
Yeah, the only reason why I'm not at a 10 out of 10 is just because I do need to rewatch it, though. It's kind of not a fair score, because I've seen Game of Thrones so many times, and to me, Game of Thrones is a 10 out of 10. Like episodes 1 or seasons 1 through, basically for me, it's 1 through 5. And I actually don't mind 6 at all. Like I thought they did fine with 6. I thought there was a lot of WTF moments in that. I definitely have my issues with seasons 7 and 8, but for me, 1 through 6 is 10 out of 10. I love all of them, and I do love House of the Dragon. But my biggest complaint is that I feel like we need more characters. I feel like there wasn't enough, and I feel like not that they rushed through it. It's just that things happen so quickly through some of them. I was a little bit annoyed with how quickly they transferred from the younger actresses to the older actresses. And again, I get it, if it's in the book like that, fine. But for me, I really enjoyed watching those 2 actresses on screen. I thought they were really, really good.
Do you miss them now, though?
I do miss them a little bit still, especially when they were showing the flashbacks. You know, in I think it was during the previously on, you know, and they were showing this couple scenes. I was like, oh man, I miss them. I do a little bit.
Okay,
but you know.
So I want to ask you, because you watch it on HBO and I clearly don't. Was there anything after the show tonight? Was there any extra stuff?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, it was about 6 or 7 minutes, and it didn't really tell you too much about like what's going to be happening moving forward. It just kind of dove into like some of the scenes. It wasn't as good as the previous ones, though. I mean, there's nothing really I needed them to break down for me that I didn't understand. Because they didn't really talk about the dragon name. That was like the one thing I was most confused on, probably. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I would say it's solid 9.5, which is still really good. For me, that would be like right in between, you know, right there with Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad. So, because those are my 2 favorites of all time.
I've never seen Breaking Bad past the first season. I've never seen. Is it when they're in the bathtub and it falls through?
Oh my god,
that's all I've seen in that show.
Dude, you need to watch Breaking Bad.
I do need to watch a lot of things.
Breaking Bad is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm addicted to just going when I'm bored and when I feel depressed or sometimes low. I will just go and watch Game of Thrones because it makes me feel happy. You know, I know what I'm getting into and I know what I'm going to feel when it ends.
Yeah, dude, Breaking Bad's fantastic.
Yeah, I know. I'll check it out. I know a lot of people, but you know, we'll get there. I don't know what I'm going to talk about next week, dude. Like. What we're going to do next week?
I'm going to try. I'm going to try to move my lives a little bit earlier. I like to go at like 7 Eastern. It's like right after the football games, and then I want to try to move my lives to Sunday earlier. But I'm going to try to make that Kahoot for. Like, have you been working on your House and Dragon Kahoot at all? I was thinking about doing that.
No, I haven't.
No. I might. It really depends how much time I have with that
There's
and
no
making
rush.
other videos. But like at least do something, maybe like 25 questions. I mean, I can knock out 25 questions pretty easily, and I could even, if you want to shoot me a few questions that you think are good for a game, just shoot them to me. I'll add them all, and then maybe we could do a giveaway or something. I mean, I'm sure I have
Okay,
something
so
around
one of the
here.
questions, I was going to
No,
give is
don't ruin it then.
how many book
Don't,
bombs does Milky drop in the season? But people will need to go back and watch the episodes to find out.
there you go. You got to go back and watch all the reviews. Maybe
all
we'll
our
do
reviews,
that.
And you've got to watch Headless's reviews and my breakdowns to find out how many book bombs Milky drops, because I've been doing it from the start. So, it's a good question, guys.
That's a lot of hours.
You want to win something, you want to win something.
Right.
You want to win something, and I
That's
will
right.
give away something. Game of Thrones. I will give something away. Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I'll have to look. I know I have some stuff around here. I'm just looking. I don't know if any of it's Game of Thrones right now, but
Yeah, you don't worry about that. I've got a couple of Jon Snow's spare, so
okay. All right. Well, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try to watch it tomorrow before you're live. And what time are we doing tomorrow again?
Tomorrow it's technically Monday for me, so I'll be going live later today.
Yeah.
We'll go 7 Central. What time's that for you?
That's 8:00. That's perfect.
Right, 7 Central it is. So 1 a.m. for me in Scotland, 7 Central in America, and 8 Eastern for you. We're going to go down. We're going to break down the episode. Be prepared, guys, to be there for longer than 2 hours, because I'm probably going to have 60 to 70 screenshots this episode. Even though they didn't have much going on, I want to talk about it,
Yeah.
And we might have our core guys on breaking it down. And then I might open it up to people in the chat if they want to come up and give me their thoughts. Or I know I've got Jeremy and Mitchie coming on tomorrow night. I've got yourself. I've got Baby Ice, Lily, myself. So that's 6.
Okay.
So
yep.
we'll have a great night, and it's going to be fun. But yeah, I don't know where to go from there. Everyone's saying great live, awesome live, guys. I want to thank you, Headless, because I give this a 10. I honestly give this a 10 because
appreciate that.
No, you're very welcome. This show holds more to me than Game of Thrones did, because I now have my YouTube channel. I've now been breaking things down. I'm getting more involved in things. People have reached out to me many times and said, Ryan, the things that you talk about this show, you can see your passion. You can see the way it brought out a lot in you. And without this show, we wouldn't have connected.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that the show brought that, and it will always hold that for me. And going forward, you're basically my co-host now when it comes to Game of Thrones stuff. So
absolutely, man.
Definitely. So I want to thank you for all your time and for allowing me on your stream and stuff.
Yeah. And I know we want to, when you want to start working on that video for the top 5 of the second half of the season.
This week. We'll work on it this week.
All right. So that would be my video I'll work on this week for sure. I'll probably do something small along with that, but and then I'll work on that Kahoot. And actually maybe instead of the second video, maybe we'll do that that Jackbox thing again. That was kind of fun.
Jackbox was very good. So Fidel says they're great live, you guys. I've never been watching live before after any show, not even Game of Thrones. And he comes and watches us, so we appreciate that.
Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate that. But yeah, dude, you realize that we were on the 3.5 hours when we were doing that Jackbox? I didn't even realize.
It was great.
Dude, 3.5. I didn't even realize we were on that long. I was like, oh my! When I was like kind of like looking at the video, I was thinking about editing a couple parts, and I'm like, I'm just gonna leave it. And I'm like, it said 3 hours and like 28 minutes. I'm like, oh my god, I cannot believe we were on that long. That was crazy.
Yeah, we played Jackbox 9 on stream. A completely random day. Just thought, hey, Headless wanted to go live and play some Jackbox, so we played it, and it was fun. Charles reached out many times and said, "Let's play more Jackbox. Let's play more."
Yeah, maybe Tuesday you got your stream. Maybe Wednesday. Maybe we could fire one up Wednesday. I'll schedule something.
I don't mind adding another day onto my 4-day weekend. Let's turn it into a 5-day weekend.
Because I actually have Jackbox. I was looking on Steam, and I actually have 7, 8, and 9. We could do 7, 8, or 9. I actually have 6 on there too, but I'm having issues playing it. So I reached out to them to see what was going on with that. So I'm hoping they either let me download it again for free because I don't want to pay for it again. but 6 has some really good games. So there's good games in all of them, but yeah. So maybe we'll do something Wednesday, and if anybody in chat, if you guys want to jump in,
anybody in chat got any questions for us before we go? Anyone want to ask us anything?
But yeah, reach out on Instagram if you want to join the chat or the stream on Wednesday.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we definitely. I think 4 people on the stream was good, and then we could definitely have that gives like the chat 4 or 5 opportunities to get in there too. So, but all right. Well, yeah.
So what's scene tomorrow? I'm going to ask you, what scene tomorrow do you want me to make sure I've got in?
From the last episode?
Yeah, from episode 10. What scene do you want to talk about tomorrow? One scene this week. One scene from tonight's episode that you want to talk about the most tomorrow on my breakdown.
Man, that's tough, dude. There's a lot. I mean, it's so quick, but I mean, the death is huge. I mean, we definitely touched upon it, but what we need to touch upon tomorrow is what do we think is going to happen in episode or in season 2 now. And again, I know you kind of know, but maybe since ask the panel. Maybe that could be a really good question to ask. Because I was going to say that today. I was going to ask you, but I'm like, man, you kind of already know at least where it's headed. So it's tough to talk about that.
So we had the 2 flights. We had the 2 boys going to do different destinations. I would have preferred the season to end at Winterfell and connect the season 1 to Ned Stark with the season 1 Game of Thrones vibes, finish at Winterfell, and then start season 2 with a banger by killing Lucerys.
But I feel like they had to do something in this one. They had to do something big. Like, I don't know what happens in Winterfell. Maybe something even bigger happens. I don't know. But
they kind of did that though in episode 9. Rhaenys turned into a mass suicide. She was killing loads of innocent people with the dragon. The beast beneath the boards. That was a good enough thing for me. I don't know.
Yeah, but no one big died still. Like
just all the innocent. No one big died, but all the innocent people, dude.
Yeah, well, What about the stormtroopers?
Yeah, but they can't aim, so it's their fault.
Yeah, I know it is their fault, but and the few Ewoks that died.
So what we're doing next Sunday? We're gonna stay on the House of the Dragon content next Sunday, or we're gonna do?
I think we could. Yeah, I think we could. We could maybe review our videos that we do during the week. We definitely do the Kahoot, and yeah, I think we definitely could chat a little bit more about House of the Dragon, and then if you want to move toward doing something with Lord of the Rings, we can. But yeah, I mean, we have just plenty we can do, so we could talk about it.
Cool. Yeah, no. So Fidel says, Milky, you should compare how Luke died from the book to the show. Yeah.
So is it a big difference? Yeah, it is a big difference.
Not really.
Not really.
Yeah, no, not really.
I really thought he was gonna get burned, though. I really did. I was waiting for it, but I kind of liked the way they did it, though, because I wasn't expecting that at all. With the dragon to eat the other dragon, or basically tore him apart,
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Baby I sent me a picture. She's still a bit confused, I think, wondering who is the oldest out of the boys. I was confused too. I genuinely thought that Jacaerys died.
Yeah, let me see if I can.
Jacaerys didn't die. It was Lucerys.
I can't really blow it. Let me see if I can do this. Uh-oh. What happened? Let's see if I can get this back up. I'm going to see if I can enlarge the pictures.
By holding control and scroll?
Yeah. Let me find them. So here they are right here.
Just click on them.
Oh, yeah. So they're okay. Yeah.
So that's Jacaerys. That's Jace.
Right.
I thought that was Luke. I've always thought that was Luke.
Yeah, because you can tell he's older.
Mm-hmm.
So you thought Luke was the older one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I always knew. The way I was doing it was I used the alphabet. J becomes before L, so that's why I always thought that Jace was older. That's just the way I did it.
They did invite, like you just said to me 5 minutes ago, that you wish there was more characters in this show. I don't wish there was more characters. I'm happy with how many we got. I'm still trying to figure out who everyone is.
Yeah, I mean, no, I get it. Yeah, I know, no, I understand. But like when you look at this, like it's hard to see. I don't know how big that is on the screen, but like when you actually count it, there's not many. Like, and there's such small parts. Like these two guys were barely even in it. Like one again, he has like one scene, so I barely even count him as a main character.
But he's
like,
not. So is
right,
that Lenor or Vaymond? Oh, that's Vaymond. Okay.
Yeah, like two. I mean, again, you know, she's in a little bit. I don't know. I just think of like Joffrey, Cersei, Jaime, the Hound, the Mountain, all the Starks, Jon Snow, what's his face? Oh my God, Theon, and then even a couple of the you know, like the whores, like even they almost have more lines than these guys. And you have Viserys, you have all the people at Castle Black. Like, think about it. Like, there's a lot.
I know, but there's also a lot more landmass that we cover, like we spoke about earlier. You know, True. If we only stayed in King's Landing and we only stayed in Winterfell, we probably wouldn't have that many names.
Yeah, I mean, but those are still in Castle Black. I think those are the three big locations that we were at.
Winterfell, yeah, King's Landing and the Wall, yeah.
You know, then it just got larger when we finally met Tywin, and then we had Renly. I don't know, but yeah, you know, it is what it is. I don't want to say it definitely doesn't look more. It doesn't look smaller scaled, because some scenes in Game of Thrones, it seems like, oh my God, it looks like they're in the corner of a barn and they're just like filming this. And then they took down the barn walls and now it's the whole nother location. Like, that's the biggest issue I have with Game of Thrones season 1, is that it looks small. Even if you think back to like when Ned and Jaime were fighting in that courtyard area, it's like, I feel like I've seen that like same area like 3 or 4 different times in different scenes. And it was small. This did not do that for me. You know, the throne room is a throne room, but like, it didn't seem like other areas were. It was just, they always seemed to be different areas, I guess, different locations, and it did seem like a bigger world. So, even though we only traveled to like 4 or 5 main places, so
cool.
But again,
I know we've gone a bit over an hour and 40 minutes, but yeah.
So
can't wait.
But yeah, all right, we'll be back on tomorrow on Ryan's channel. Don't forget to smash that like on the way out. And
you're only 10 away from your goal, dude. 10 away from 300.
Oh, it's almost I gained like 3 because I was at 287 this morning. So nice.
You're 10 away from 300 right now. You're
more.
Oh, you're still 287. But let me refresh it.
So 290.
When my internet decides to work.
Yeah, I always go hardware when I do the stream.
I'm hardware too, but for some reason everything's going slow. Yeah, you're 290, dude.
Nice. Appreciate that support, man. I appreciate it so much.
Oh yeah, you're fine. You're doing good.
Yeah, this is just, you know, for me, man, this is just fun stuff, dude. Like I just enjoy it. If we didn't enjoy doing this, like we wouldn't do it. Like, you know.
It's 5 o'clock in the morning, so I've definitely got to be enjoying what I'm doing because I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, you are a trooper, man. Because I'm looking at the time; it's like 12:03. I'm like, wait a minute. It's like I gotta go to sleep now. I gotta go to work in the morning. And now, I'll send you a video of the obstacle course. So in my school, we're doing I'm doing because I teach phys ed, so I'm doing a Halloween obstacle course, and like half the gym is built up to like be a maze with like floor mats. I got these big cardboard boxes that we kind of like cut down and like we make them walls. Dude, the kids love it though. It's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fun. I bring a bunch of like Halloween stuff in. I got a fog machine going, strobe lights, and it was nice. One parent actually messaged me on Friday when I was driving home, and she's like, "I just want to let you know my daughter got in the car and told me all about what you guys did in gym," and she said it was so much fun, and she's just like, I really appreciate what you do for the kids. That was it's always nice to hear those comments. You know? Yeah,
definitely. Well, guys, my name's been Ryan. I have been the 3-eyed, all-knowing Ryan Milky Raven. My host for tonight, who's been hosting this show, has been Headless Ned Stark. We both want to thank you and everybody that's watched us and supported us and commented, subscribed, checked us out for a couple of minutes. Even if you didn't like what we were doing and you just left after it, we appreciate you for being here. Please come back for season 2. Please subscribe to both of us, because we both need to make sure that we continue our OnlyFans subscription for Alison Hightower, because we need to see her feet, and I love doing that. Yes. Please subscribe to both of us. We will definitely see you next week for more extra content of House of the Dragon. But just know that I myself will be working tirelessly behind the scenes to bring you a fantastic season 2 when it happens.
Yep. Same goes here. I appreciate you guys. And Ryan, I appreciate you hanging out with me. And this has been a lot of fun. And we're going to continue this. We'll continue, man. This is fun. I like these Sunday, Monday lives. It gets us to talk. And, you know, it may not be House of the Dragon or Game of Thrones all the time, but I mean, there's so much lore and there's so much we could talk about. We haven't even talked about. I know we keep mentioning season 8. We really got a deep dive into season 8 one of these lives. But
well, I've never broke down Game of Thrones before on my channel, and I've always wanted to. So
I know what we're talking about.
One person to say, Milky, do you want to watch Game of Thrones again? And I'll be like, hell yeah.
Yeah. Like you said,
we just watch episode 1 on Sunday. We'll let people what we're doing, and then we'll review it afterwards, and I'll break it down on the Monday night if we wanted to do that for Game of Thrones.
We could do that a couple episodes, because I mean, but we have probably over 450 days before we get the next season too. So, but if, between that too, like are you going to be watching the new Star Wars show? I know Andor you weren't a big fan of. I'm actually way behind, but we have the Tale of the Jedi, the little animated series. They're shorter.
We're supposed to be getting an animated thing for House of the Dragon, like Lord of the Rings stuff as well. Like
I did see that too. Yes.
We're supposed to be getting a 10-episode animated Yeti show, which is that's based on the Middle Eastern section of House of the Dragon. So
I saw that. So I mean, dude, there's so much we could do. So, but next week we'll definitely do a little fun Kahoots, give away some prizes, and if
anybody in the chat wants to come up next week and wants to say hi to everybody on the panel, then just reach out and I'll send a link out and people can come up and say hi.
Yep, that sounds good, man. All right, dude. All right, I'll see you tomorrow, and then later this week we'll be dropping our favorite scene from each of the last 5 episodes. So if you haven't
scenes from the last 5,
right. If you haven't checked out the first one, you can go on our channels and find those. I'll link those in the description as well. And so anything else, man?
No, my head stayed on this episode.
All right, good. I'm glad you stayed on. Everybody else, though, don't forget, keep those heads on. Have a good night. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
See you.